Wyverns, fearsome winged reptiles often mistaken for dragons, are creatures of legends feared by peasants and hunters alike. But what if everything you thought you knew about them was wrong? Today, we're diving deep into the world of wyverns, uncovering their origins, abilities, and terrifying truths behind their misunderstood reputation. Wyverns are endangered species of ornithopters, with snake-like necks and long, powerful tails ending in a venomous trident. Almost entirely covered in dark, gleaming scales, these creatures strike fear into the heart of those who witness them soaring overhead. Their sharp, menacing teeth make them efficient hunters, allowing them to swoop down at breakneck speed, snatch their prey, whether sheep or man, and carry it off to their nest without a second thought. Unfortunately for wyverns, their appearance often leads them to be mistaken for dragons. Picture this scene. A massive, scaly beast approaches a flock of sheep. The panic spreads like wildfire. The villagers expect fire-breathing destruction, chaos, and perhaps even the abduction of unlucky maiden. But unlike dragons, wyverns do not breathe fire, nor do they lay waste to entire villages. And as for the local virgins, they are of absolutely no interest to these creatures. While ordinary folk may struggle to tell the difference, experienced monster hunters such as the legendary witchers can identify a wyvern at a glance. Unlike dragons, wyverns move on two heavy muscled legs, making them distinct among flying lizards. But what makes them truly dangerous is their venomous stinger, located at the end of their tails. A single strike can be lethal, and combined with their powerful jaws filled with razor-sharp teeth, these creatures are formidable foes. The wyvern's terrifying image likely stems from humanity's deep-seated fear of reptiles. With its flat head and elongated neck, the creature bears a striking resemblance to a snake. While its extended tail only amplifies this impression, its hunched dinosaur-like back adds another layer of terror. Artists' depictions often highlight its venomous nature with bright, dangerous-looking colors and a series of thin, jagged spikes protruding from its spine, reinforcing its reputation as a treacherous predator. Among wyverns, one breed stands as the deadliest of them all, the royal wyvern. Larger, stronger, and significantly more aggressive than its kin. This variant is a true nightmare. Its venom is even more potent, and unlike other wyverns, it does not fear humans. Even a mob of armed villagers with pikes and pitchforks pose little threat to this beast, especially when it's feeding. When a royal wyvern sets its sights on a prey, there is little hope of escape. Wyverns may not be dragons, but that does not make them any less terrifying. Now, with that said, let's hear its Witcher Bestiary to get more information about this beast, and after that, we'll dive deep into its mythology.
Most dangerous of all are the royal wyverns, or, as they're called in some circles, the royal pains in the arse. Albina Tortelkamp, lecturer in natural sciences at Aretusa. Wyverns are often mistaken for dragons, and though they are much smaller than their more famous kin and do not breathe fire, they are likewise extremely dangerous monsters. Especially feared are the so-called royal wyverns, who, like their namesake monarchs, are exceptionally ornery and extremely deadly. A wyvern will usually attack from the air, aiming to knock its prey down with its wings. After landing, it will attack with its tooth-filled beak, trying to draw attention away from its most dangerous weapon, the stinger found at the end of its long tail. A strike from this carries the risk of poisoning from powerful toxins. Even a witch's body experiences wrenching pain when injected with wyvern venom, and so it is worth preparing oneself with suitable potions ahead of time. Combat tactics. Wyverns are quite venomous. They are able to spit their venom from a distance and even inject it directly into its victim through the stinger on the end of its long tail. The use of golden oriole can prevent it from incapacitating you. They will fly around their prey well beyond crossbow range before they will swoop down at breakneck speeds in an attempt to claw at their victim. Ardent grapeshot can bring a wyvern to the ground, though they are tough enough to be resistant to crossbow bolts, but other more lethal munitions can force it to the ground.
A wyvern is a small dragon-like creature, sometimes called a dragonet, which mimics a dragon's power and habits on a smaller scale. Although they aren't as ferocious as their larger cousins, they are highly aggressive and more than capable of killing an unarmed traveler or damaging an unprotected town. The physical resemblance between wyverns and dragons has led many people to believe that these creatures come from the same family. That may be true, but they are still very different species with important physical differences. First and foremost, wyverns have 2 legs, whereas dragons have 4, or in some ancient descriptions, none. The smaller serpent's legs are also more bird-like, long and spiny, with widespread toes and sharply curved talons, whereas a dragon's legs are reptilian. Not only do their legs give them unique look, but they also give them a unique style of movement, hopping, hovering, and pouncing instead of crawling. Second, the wyvern's tail have a unique barbed end. Some texts claim that this barb is actually a stinger that can deliver a powerful dose of poison, which would give them one weapon in their arsenal that dragons don't have. Other texts describe dragons who have adapted to semi-aquatic life by developing a more fish-like tail. Wyverns share many of the same abilities as dragons. They are outstanding flyers and they can often be seen circling high in the sky as they scout out treasure to plunder. When they manage to make off with a new trinket, they carry it to their lairs. Their hoards, however, are not nearly as impressive as a true dragon's hoard, which have been known to make men sick with greed and envy. Comically, the little dragonet will collect anything shiny, even if it is nothing more than a cheap spoon. They are fearless fighters, even more so than their calculating cousins, who usually only fight when the odds are in their favor. Wyverns will plunge into battle with any enemy, regardless of how powerful he looks. Whether or not the little serpent can breathe fire is hotly debated. Certainly, they don't contain an inexhaustible supply of fire, like the mighty dragon does, but some texts do describe wyverns spotting small balls of flame at their enemies or onto straw roofs. They have even been nicknamed fire drakes in some medieval bestiaries. The wyvern's deadliest weapon of all is their breath. Even if they can't breathe fire, they can breathe something far more dangerous: pestilence. They spread contagious disease wherever they go, and during Europeans' Dark Ages, they were blamed for spreading the Black Plague, a grotesque disease that claimed millions of lives. Although the first depiction of wyvern has been lost to history, it is clear from bestiaries and alchemy texts that these little dragons were well known throughout Europe as early as medieval period, in the 5th century AD. Some scholars have speculated that the wyverns may have sprung from Roman war banners, which would have been seen by the early Europeans when Rome's conquering force began to spread north. The idea is supported by the fact that the etymology of the word wyvern can be traced back through French to Latin word vipera, which would have been used by Romans. Wyverns are believed to have appeared in English war banners as early as the 8th century, when Wales were represented by a red dragon and Wessex by a gold dragon. By the 6th century, the popularity of these little dragons as a symbol of courage and strength had earned him a place on the coats of armor of many prominent families in Wales and Wessex. By the 19th century, English companies nationwide had begun to use the dragonet as their logo, and today it can be found as a logo or mascot around the world. That was it for today's video. Thank you for watching this video, and if you liked it, please leave a like and subscribe, as that greatly helps the channel. And until the next time, goodbye.